Thinking about moving to Fort Lauderdale? I can tell you a little bit about it because in 2009, me and my now wife did that. My name is Casey Prindle. I'm a real estate agent that serves Fort Lauderdale and the surrounding communities. Today I'd like to give you some pros and cons about moving here, some things you may or may not have thought about. Whether that move is taking place now or in the future, I hope you get something out of this. Do me a favor, if you enjoy this video, please like it, consider subscribing to the channel, and please feel free to call, text, or email me. I like talking to people about real estate. It's what I do. So let's get into some thoughts I have, some pros and cons about moving to Fort Lauderdale. So right off the bat, let's touch on a few things. I'm in my 40s. I have a wife and a kid. That's going to be my perspective. I can't tell you where the best nightclubs are. I can't tell you where the best pool parties are. I can't even tell you where to go to watch a football game on Sundays because I'm usually at some kind of kid's birthday party in a bounce house trying to keep my kid away from germs. I can tell you where the best bars and restaurants to bring a kid to are, though. But honestly, the reason I'm bringing this up is because my pros and cons are going to be based around things that I think people my age and people with kids are probably going to relate to. If you're a bachelor, I'll try my best. Let's get the obvious pros out of the way. This is Florida. We have great weather. Fort Lauderdale has a large yachting community. We have a lot of waterfront property. We have a lot of intercoastal waterways, canal. It's great for boating all the way around. No matter where you are in Fort Lauderdale, you're really no more than 15 minutes drive away from the beach. If you didn't know any of those three things, and I just had to tell them to you, we're not going to get along. Like, these are beyond obvious. These aren't even pros. When we first moved to Fort Lauderdale, there was really nowhere near the amount of choices that you have now for dining. There's really some great options now. If you want waterfront dining, you have Shooters, you have Coconuts. More recently, you have Boatyard. Las Olas. Man, Las Olas has really gained some great restaurants. Eddie V's, Fogo de Chao. El Camino if you want a margarita. Louis Bossi's if you want a great social scene. I mean, the list just kind of goes on Las Olas. It's really filled in with some quality restaurants. If you like Italian, like my wife and my daughter do, there's Heritage in Flagler Village. There's La Dolce Vita up on Gold Ocean. If you want to get dressed up, there's Casa d'Angelo. Kind of a bonus here. Again, I'm going to speak to those of you with kids. If you are a Florida resident, you get a Florida resident discount for staying at the Hard Rock. In the summertime, they have some really low rates when the hotel isn't that busy. They have a fantastic steak at Council Oak. But here's the thing for parents. You get 2 enormous pools that your kids can play in for hours. It will tire out even the most unruly of children. It's great. We have a wide range of housing options here, right? We have condos, we have townhomes, we have single family homes. We have oceanfront, we have intercoastal front. We have downtown properties. We have gated communities, we have non-gated communities. I mean, the list just goes on. If you're looking for it, you can probably find it here in Lauderdale, and that's a huge bonus, I think. We have scarcity of supply here, and what I mean by that is we have ocean on one side of us, communities that surround us, very little land available to build on. In Fort Lauderdale, less than 1% of the available land can be built upon. So we don't have a whole lot of room left to build. We have positive net migration, more people moving in than moving out. We have thousands of rental units where at some point those people are going to want to buy a home in Lauderdale. All of this adds up to the pro of we should have a buoy on price here, or something that would at least help buoy the market. While it's no guarantee, your downside should be better protected here than in a lot of tertiary areas. I think the pros are easy, and I could go on with them, but honestly, they're just a lot of fluff. Doom and gloom is kind of my wheelhouse. So I'm probably going to be better at doing the cons because I like to measure downside risk more than upside. So let's take a look at some of the cons. All right, first con that I'm going to start with about Fort Lauderdale, and again, I'm the parent of a 5-year-old. the school system in Fort Lauderdale. So here's what I want you to do. You can go to a number of different websites. I prefer greatschools.org. If you go to that website, put in Fort Lauderdale, pull down, say, elementary schools. You're going to be shown a map view, and you're going to notice that the highest rated elementary schools in Fort Lauderdale are also located in the most expensive areas to buy a home. If you're budget constrained, this is a problem. There are workarounds. The first one is going into the private school system. Starting from the time our daughter was 3, we had her in St. Mark's off Oakland Park Boulevard, which we thought was a really good program. And we interviewed and talked with all of the different private schools in the area, so I can tell you a whole lot about that world. The second choice that you would have is to enter the charter school program. Now, the issue with the charter school program for some people is that you have to drive your child there each day, and those charter schools are mainly located in Plantation and Davie. So somebody's going to have to drive the kids every day. If you have 2 working parents, this isn't going to be feasible. That's going to lead to the third option, which is buying a home in an area like Plantation, Davie, Cooper City, something where you have better public school systems that you can just run your kids through the whole way. An unfortunate con for Fort Lauderdale, but it's a reality if you have kids, and you can't ignore it. Flooding. Another reality is that a lot of Fort Lauderdale experiences flooding. Now, a few months ago, we were on the national news because the flooding was so bad, it really damaged a whole lot of Lauderdale. And a lot of areas that had never been underwater before were under a whole lot of water. It's a persistent problem. It's not going to go away. We have infrastructure improvements that are on the way, but they're not complete yet. And even after they're complete, I mean, they're untested at this point. So I think it's going to be something that has to be dealt with over a longer period of time. This is going to be especially important if you're looking in areas like, say, Las Olas Isles. Certain parts of the Isles are going to be more prone to flooding than other parts of the Isles. Look, there's just different sections. You just have to know where you are, and you also have to know if you're going to be in a flood zone. And if you are going to be in a flood zone, that's going to add to the cost of your insurance. That's the next con that I'm going to touch on, which is insurance. This is not specific to Fort Lauderdale. This is statewide, but property insurance rates right now, windstorm rates, they're totally out of control. They've absolutely skyrocketed. Now, if you have a home with a roof that's older than 15 years that you're looking at purchasing, this is an even bigger problem. So again, I don't think that this is going away anytime soon. And we're going to have to contend with it. And it's a con. It's a real problem. All right, if you're looking for a large lot of land, you may need to look outside of Fort Lauderdale. The common lot size around here, 6,750 square feet, is about the most common size that I come across. So you have some yard space. You don't have a ton of yard space. If you want an acre of land, unless you have unlimited funds or budget's not a concern, we're going to have to go looking somewhere else like Davie or Plantation, to some extent Southwest Ranches. These are where the larger lots are. There are only a handful of places in Fort Lauderdale that have large lots. So if it's something that's important to you and you're going to be disappointed by a smaller lot size, then get ahead of it now and start broadening your search. If you're okay with not really wanting to maintain a big yard and all that comes along with it, then no problem. For me, it's a con because I like a lot of yard space. I don't like to be touching my neighbor, but that's just me. So it's a con for me, it may not be a con for you. All right, so when I was doing the pros, I was talking to you guys about how having positive net migration, having a lot of people want to move here, being geographically constrained, and not having a whole lot of land to build on, how that's all positive for your long-term home value, and it is. The con is that because we have all of these things, we have a high barrier of entry. So if you're looking to move to Fort Lauderdale, it's going to cost you more money than it's going to cost to be in a lot of the surrounding communities. That's just the reality of it. While there are homes available in a variety of price points, you're going to get more for your money traveling outside of Fort Lauderdale than you are trying to be within city limits. So that's it. That's what I have. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please like the video. Consider subscribing to the channel so you can get updates on my new videos. Please, if you want to talk about real estate, call, text, or email me. If I don't answer, just leave a message. Promise I'll get back to you. I like talking about real estate. It's what I do. I'll see you soon.